island that requires player to reach this point around estimated 3 to 4 months. Because not only needing this, building up this island, but also need to build up a network to supply this island, which is only done moderately successful because up here we have a couple of peasants rioting actually. So you can see immediately on the very first look, something's going wrong. So clicking on a peasant residence will actually show us, yep. Well, we're not feeding them, we're not giving them any drinks, and they don't have any clothes, so yeah, they have all the reasons to riot. That's fine. On online, you are not only building on a single island, but you have up to 9 different islands, all with different resources. All the stockpiles you build, all the production you do on one single island stays on that island, unless you manually ship it with your ships over to the islands where you need them. So for example here, this is a starter island, which you can also play here and here. You can build cider for really cheap drinks and clothing. Clothing, which are the two very basic needs that all the peasants start with. But just because I produce cider here doesn't mean the people in the big city get drunk. Yeah, I need the harbor, and I need to have a couple of ships transferring my goods from here to there. Ships are fully customizable. Ships have fulfill different functions. You can actually see this here. This is a very old build. These are the current builds, but they're not leveled up enough yet. You can have a look around, you can click around if you wish to have a closer look at the game, how the game plays. Ships are basically going to be used for exploring new islands, because you're going to start with, every player starts with the first 2 islands. So the first island, and then discovers the next island, which produces wheat, because those are the very, very basic commodities all people need. However, after this, it's all completely up to you. If you want to go mass producing everything to be completely autark, go for it. You're probably going to need a lot more space, which means that you can't build the big cities, because your space will be needed for production chains. Or you can just specialize in things like complex things like brewing beer, which needs a monastery and wheat and everything. So that's a more complex chain. And say, yep, look guys, I have beer. If you bring me the other stuff, we're doing trade route just between our empires, along between our own islands. So this is where the multiplayer aspect comes in. It's very, very dynamic.
Is there only sort of a cooperative kind of multiplayer? Or?
Currently, it's completely cooperative. So your goal is to build these huge cities. And while you can do this on your own, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be really a challenge. And as you can see, it's not entirely successful here because people are a bit unhappy. Happier here. We cheated this map together just to show what we can do. So Anno Online currently has 600 different buildings, which we can display. From a technical point of view, we have more than 15,000 different graphic objects that we can display on one screen. And again, this is entirely browser-based, so there's no tricks, this is not a video that we're running, this is not a client that you download. You go to the website, you log in, and then you're there. That's it.
All the buildings, do you build them manually, or does it happen organically?
No, you build them manually. So have a small... I don't want to ruin my beauty map here. Actually, we have a small here. That's not producing yet. Islands come in different sizes. As you can see, there's not much production stuff left. But don't have any resources there. So yeah. Smaller islands that you start with. We build, as soon as you build a building, it starts working immediately. Here, the lumberjack starts lumberjacking. Starts cutting down the trees. See a timer here going down. He usually needs 1 minute and 40 seconds for each tree, for each log he produces. The more trees he has around himself, this is an old build, it's 25, and you can see it much better on the other ones. The faster he produces resources, and that's all. So you don't build something and then wait and come back 3 hours later to see if it's built. It's immediately there. As long as you have the resources to build things, you build things. So you are the determining factor how fast you expand, how good your economy starts, how good your economy is, the faster you expand.
How often should I log on to maintain a good pace?
As much as you want. So I can only speak from my own experience here right now. We're having the latest alpha build we're testing, game logic, which is pretty final already, for 2 weeks now. I am currently on the 4th map, 4 islands running, and I could play all day long if I had the time to do so, because there's always something to do. But I usually try to log in at least once during my lunch hours to maintain at least a bit of production and grow one island. So you will be able, as soon as you reach a certain size, there's always something to do. Because you don't play on a single island, you play on several islands at once. So the complex thing is you'll also always need to adjust new trade routes. Ships, as I said, can be completely customizable. You have big ships which are slow, which transport large amounts of goods. You have fast ships that transport very small amounts of goods, but which are maybe really good at exploring new islands and having a better chance of getting rarer islands or bigger islands with more valuable commodities, with more valuable resources.
Yeah.
You have ships that are ideal for trade routes because they're very sturdy, having a moderate amount of things. And it's not only the ships you customize for yourself, it's also the harbor. So depending on the requirements of the islands you're having, you can design your harbor. This harbor, for example, is built out to support up to 4 ships simultaneously, because it's a really huge island, and this city needs a lot of resources that just don't have the space to produce on this one. I do a bit of a production here, but most of the resources necessary to keep these people happy come from the other islands. So I have 4 keys here, which means I can handle 4 ships at once. Because if the key isn't empty, the ship will just queue up, which slows down my trading processes, which sucks because I'm not being efficient.
So if I screw up the trading and they don't get the resources for the big town, will something get destroyed, or will yes production hold?
Your production will hold, and your population will get very unhappy, which means that you are earning less money, which means that you are entering a downward spiral at this point that you need to repair really quickly. We built in a couple of save points, so you can't fall. You are not going to suddenly see a game over screen after you spend 5 months. And if we are lucky because we impressed you, we spent several €100 on our game, you're not suddenly going to see a game over screen. You will have to work on rebuilding your economy.
Like if I go to Mallorca for a week and come back and oh no, my city is destroyed. And
that's not going to happen. We have built in save points, and if you see that you haven't logged in for a longer time and the economy is downward spiraling, we just hold it. We just wait for you to come back and see the results of your disastrous management.
And it's still an alpha.
This currently here is an early alpha. This is a slightly later alpha. We're going to enter close beta in the next, hopefully a couple of weeks, definitely a couple of months.
Okay.